Ethereum has two possible scenarios that are going to play out. We did a video a couple of days ago, and it looks like scenario number two. The green is playing out in a textbook fashion. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for the price action? It means we can project with very high probability what's really likely to occur next. So if you like today's content, we're going to do detailed analysis on Ethereum. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. So let's dive straight in. So this is a live chart on a daily chart with Ethereum. And we're going to first just delete the orange. Why? Because that is the one that didn't play out. The green played out. And we did a video a few days ago on Ethereum and said, what does this price action mean for the price? And we said, look, there's two potential outcomes. Either this high gets exceeded or it doesn't. And each one tells a different story on the buying and selling behavior. Now, by the way, we're going to do detailed analysis. If you want this analysis and to put it into your own trading view, you can actually now join the R15 Crypto Gym for £1 and you get a 30-day trial. That's correct. 1 month with me as your personal elite trainer in the Crypto Gym. What do you get? Well, not only the charts, you get an invite to my private Telegram community. You'll get a 7-day bootcamp where we really upskill you in Elliott Wave and Fibonacci. But the most important part, the most value, is actually we do a daily detailed analysis on Bitcoin, on Solana, and BNB, and we're looking to add some more. So in the description link below, you can join the R15 gym, test it out for £1 for 30 days. If you like it, stick around and we do some great business together. All right, so now what we're going to do is it's really, really important to understand some key fundamentals, some basics, some real basics with Elliott Wave. In the bootcamp, in the R15 Crypto Gym, I go over the Elliott Wave rules and guidelines. And the high level principle is markets move in fives and threes. And we are looking to identify the fives and threes. And when we can see them clearly, it gives us a really, really good indication of what's likely to occur next. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean this up just to make it a little easier for us to see. We no longer need this line. That was just to see if there was an overlap. This high has clearly been exceeded. And this is just textbook. This is like beautiful 5-wave sequence. The 5 over here has not been complete yet, but it gives us a really, really good indication that this market looks like a pretty strong 1, 2, like an ABC. This is a very typical wave 2, a nice impulsive wave 3, an ABC of a 4, irregular, and then we're getting this part here. We've taken out this high. So what we're going to do next is we're going to project some ratios. Now, what most people don't realize is the price tells us everything we need to know in terms of buying and selling behavior. And each wave, these things are like waves, these lines that we're drawing over here, these are waves. Each one has a relationship to one another. And there's some key relationships I'm going to share with you today with I'm just going to project them. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll tell you what they are. Is wave 1 to 3 has a relationship to wave 5. And the key ratios are 38.2%, 62%, and a maximum of 100%. Now, what that does, it gives us 3 key numbers over here. It says Ethereum is going to likely, well, we've already exceeded the minimum. The next target is 1800. We're in that zone. And then the typical maximum would be 2000, 2100 in that zone. But we can do better. We can get even more detailed because what we're looking for is other ratios and other relationships. Let's just get rid of this 32%. There's something else called an external retracement. It's basically the wave 4 and wave 5 relationship. And we basically take these extremes. So we can take this high to this low over here. And the key two ratios that we want is just very reliable, very high probability, this particular ratio. And you'll realize I'm saying probabilities 1.618 to 1.272. So that tells us, you can see that it falls right into this range over here. So this means that it's a high probability range that we're probably going to see Ethereum topping out. And then what we do is we look at the momentum. On the next bearish reversal, in English, what that means is when the blue line goes below the red, is likely Ethereum is going to reach a local top. But why it was important for us to see this 5-wave sequence, what this tells us is if we do get a top here, what should we anticipate to follow? After a 5-wave sequence of any kind, more often than not, what occurs next is a 3-wave correction. which doesn't normally exceed the previous low. In other words, this low should hold. Doesn't mean it's going to hold, but for the immediate move to the downside, it should hold. And again, we can only review it as time goes on because the market will give us more valuable information. So what we're going to do and finish on today with Ethereum is, what is the minimum expectation? Well, if we just make the assumption for now, let's just say the top of Ethereum is going to be made tomorrow. Let's just say it's tomorrow. So I'm going to put this arrow on tomorrow's date, which is the 30th of July. We're going to do something called a Fibonacci time retracement. And by the way, in the Crypto Gym, I have some extra courses which you can actually upgrade to, and we do some other detailed training on Fibonacci time, Fibonacci price, and in the bootcamp, you get some real goodies, £1, 30 days. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. We want to give away a lot of value, So what we're going to do here is we're just going to measure this. So I'm going to take this low, and again, I'm going to take it as if it was tomorrow. We haven't got that confirmation yet, but this is just to give us an indicative feel of what's likely to occur next. And the two ratios is 38 to 62%. Now, what does that mean in English? Well, that means by the date, the 15th to the 25th of August, so maybe talking about 2-3 weeks of sideways to down, potentially, right? And more often than not, let's just, again, make the assumption that Ethereum hits this top here, which is $1,600 price range. More often than not, the minimum movement to the downside will be at least 50%. This is most typical, most common, highly probable. 50%, 62 to 78.6. What this does for us, it just gives us a nice feel for a minimum target that we should anticipate to the downside. And more often than not, after a 5-wave sequence to the upside, we will normally see some type of A, B, C correction. Something similar to that we saw here. Like this wave 2 is an ABC correction. Believe it or not, this wave 4 is an irregular ABC correction because it goes like this, A, B, C. Another guideline, really, really important to know, is that this degree of correction, it's like a breather. I like to think of it as the market. Ethereum is just on a sprint. It's gone from like $850 all the way up to, let's just call it $1,800. Let's just say it goes a little higher. It's done a sprint and it's run out of breath and it needs a rest. It needs a breather. It needs to catch his, pay off his oxygen debt and just get the lactic acid out of the muscles and relax. And that's when the market does a correction. This correction is normally bigger than any correction in the former sequence. Yeah, what? Please translate in English. All right. Well, this correction is in the former sequence, and this correction is in the former sequence. Clearly, this wave 2 is bigger than the wave 4. Well, at least in time anyway, and it's pretty much even in price. So what we will know is that this correction that we're anticipating in orange is more than likely going to be bigger in price, as in it's going to be a bigger move to the downside. So it's going to go lower than this point here, and longer in time. So that's where these ratios come in. So it gives us a nice high probability. Now, if this low does get exceeded, we need to reevaluate. That is a possibility, but we always go with the probability. So we get the odds in our favor. The only concern I have, I guess, is if I pop out of this chart, it's a daily chart. By the way, you can get this exact chart with all these settings, key settings, the analysis in the R15 Crypto Gym. When you click on crypto charts, you get a lot of other goodies as well, including an invite to my private Telegram group. You'll be able to download it into your own trading view and use the exact same settings as well. £1 for 30 days is a no-brainer. So I want to get your attention to the top left-hand corner. That's where I keep my weekly chart. It's a weekly time frame. And what we will notice is that the momentum, the blue and the red line at the bottom, when the blue line crosses below the red, you can see that the market moves sideways to down, especially the last one. So this is in this range as well. So we should anticipate sideways to down. So that's the only thing where it's a bit of a concern to see, is this low really going to hold? Is it going to hold? But the inclination and the indication, and we just go with what the information we have at the moment. I know there's a lot of info on the chart right now. Even if I just clean it up for a second, here we go. If I just clean it up like this, there is a couple of arguments where we could argue that actually, yeah, this is not a 5-wave sequence. It's more of a an A, B, and a C. There's a reasonable case for that. There's a reasonable case for that, and that's what we'll probably lean towards if this low does get exceeded. But what we're doing is basically we're just playing probabilities, especially when you're trading. Trading, the best traders on the planet know that you don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. Actually, more importantly, the best traders on the planet know they don't know what's going to happen next. And they are very clear that they don't know. What they do know is the odds of what's going to happen next. And then we play those odds. And it's called get the edge in your favor and then trade that edge. So at this present moment, regardless of what is going to happen, is really highly probable that we're going to see some type of top and at least a 3-wave correction. And it might be worth shorting this correction because it can play out. It can play out to the downside, right? Doesn't mean it will, but there's some good potential movements to the downside. But the momentum on the weekly and the daily will marry up. So I've covered a lot today. But I'm going to finish on one last thing. I just want to pull up the momentum indicator one more time. The last piece of information is something called a double time frame momentum setup. And it's where the weekly momentum, which is measuring rate of change, is basically like the rhythm of the market and moving in a particular rhythm. When the higher degree time frame and the lower degree time frame pointing in the same direction. So the weekly is something called overbought, is in that higher range. And then on the daily, over the next couple of days, we're gonna see the blue line cross over the red. And when it does, then we want to look for potential shorting opportunities or taking profits on Ethereum, knowing that we're probably going to get a pretty decent pullback. So what does that look like? I'm just going to draw it like this. If I can draw it like this. This is the zone. And I'm going to draw it. So I'm going to get the blue line. So the blue line will tend to do this. And then the red line will tend to do something like this. And when it crosses over at this point here, similar to this point here, then we can either use that information to take profits or to even potentially short Ethereum, depending on your trade strategies. So if you like today's video, today was like a mini masterclass, but it's really highly probable outcomes that we're looking at here. We're really, really looking at these high probable outcomes. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification because we bring daily value to you literally every single day. And remember, check out the R15 Crypto Gym. We've got a lot of goodies, and we'll do some detailed daily analysis every single day. So I'm going to finish on a quote today from my book. Now, the quote we're going to go with, I'm going to go with chapter 8. Chapter 8. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. It's Henry Ford. And he says, it has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. So it's really, really important to realize, not only life is short, but the difference between person A and person B can be the number of hours, purposeful practice, dedication, consistency. And when you can do that over and over again, you'll get ahead of the market, ahead of the people. And the way I like to look at crypto, trading crypto, is it's a game of tennis. There's winners and there's losers. And you're playing against millions of other participants. And your job is to get the edge in your favor and then play the edge in terms of play that odds with high probability and consistency. And that's how you win at the game of crypto tennis. So join me tomorrow for tomorrow's workout, R15. We're going to do Bitcoin, Solana, and BNB short workouts. But we go into detail of what's highly probable going to occur next. And we're looking for high probability setups all the time. All right, guys, I will see you very soon.